I welcome the opportunity to speak this afternoon, and in doing so welcome the report by the Devolution and Further Powers Committee, and like previous members that have spoken today, can I thank Bruce Crawford and his committee for the work they have done to produce such a comprehensive report. Going forward, we need cross-party cooperation to make our additional powers work for all and to ensure that powers are used for a better Scotland. The Smith Agreement has set out a very clear path for Scotland to enhance and enshrine our Scottish Parliament. And amongst the wide-ranging proposals set out by Lord Smith, in particular, I welcome the proposal for votes at 16 and 17, the devolution of air passenger duty, tribunals and, most crucially, the devolution of welfare. With another 5 years of a Tory government, and a majority one at that, and their focus on reducing the welfare bill, our poorest and most vulnerable need the protection afforded to them through Smith. And I hope that we can all act upon these welfare issues as soon as practically possible, and indeed work together to see more powers on welfare coming to this Parliament. With the Scottish Parliament now within the final year of this session, I anticipate positively engaging with young people to ensure that their voices are heard and not ignored. And as a long-standing supporter of lowering the voting franchise, it was a joy to speak with 16 and 17-year-olds during the referendum campaign and hear their passion and interest, regardless of position taken. And the work of the Devolution Committee to engage with young people during informal events and online to seek their views is to be commended. As the Scottish Labour lead in infrastructure, capital investment in cities, I welcome and support the devolution of APD. The committee report shows overwhelming support for the devolution, in particular Glasgow, Edinburgh and Aberdeen Airport, who also try to ease concerns about cross-border effects in the result of the reduction of APD or indeed its abolishment. And in a past life, I sat on employment tribunals, and with my experience in mind, I wholeheartedly support the devolution of tribunals in order to improve access to justice. And as is stated in our Devolution Commission report, we believe that the operation of employment tribunals should be devolved, even when there is a continuing reservation of responsibility for common right across the UK. The administrative cost which has been forced upon workers wishing to seek justice from their employer goes against everything I believe in as a trade unionist. And with the further transfer of powers for tribunals, I hope this Parliament will unite in removing the punitive costs I have just referred to. The Smith Commission rightly discussed the issues surrounding victims of human trafficking, and I back the need for further exploration to extend the temporary right to remain in Scotland to victims of human trafficking. And I plead for both governments to work on the basis that victims must be protected from further abuse, in particular from their own home country, and if the temporary right to remain was withdrawn. On equality, there is a desire for gender quotas to be introduced to the boards of Scotland's public bodies. And again, I would encourage the Scottish Government to work with the UK Government to clear up what the committee regarded as doubt about the power of the Scottish Parliament to legislate for gender quotas. With further clarification needed, I eagerly look forward to the next steps of the Devolution Committee to hear more about the relationship between gender quotas and the Equality Act. And Presiding Officer on taxation, I join with others inside and outside this chamber in warning against a race to the bottom between the countries of this island. However, with the recommendation that the Scottish Parliament has the power to set the rates of income tax and the thresholds, we must use these powers to tackle inequality and injustice by redistributing wealth from top to bottom. And on borrowing, the committee reports that all the parties of the Smith Commission agree that current borrowing powers are restrictive and limited, and utilising the proposed borrowing powers will enable our infrastructure the investment they require. There is clearly further work required in regards to borrowing powers, and I wish the Devolution Committee every success in getting both governments to meet the challenges head-on. And Presiding Officer, the Smith Commission reports that the Scottish Parliament will have the power to prevent the proliferation of payday loan shops, and this is another area I fully support action for. The Scottish Government can already tackle the problems of such payday loan shops through the planning process, but so far have not done so. Yet, as Citizens Advice Scotland highlights, the Scottish Parliament planning laws cannot tackle online access of payday companies. And in Renfrewshire, the Council has banned access to online payday loan companies in any of its public library computers. And this is a measure to be welcomed and supported by those wishing to tackle the debt problems caused by quick access to loans, but at a very heavy burden to the consumer. And with the UK Government expected to launch a bill for further powers next month, I look forward with great interest to see what comes from the bill and the subsequent inquiry from the Devolution Committee. And in closing, Presiding Officer, I hope that across the Chamber we can work together to strengthen our Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you very much.